What's up, guys? Duane Richins, door-to-door realtor. Today, we're going to talk about the myth that you have to be pushy in order to close deals. So stay tuned as we walk through what it means to connect with your client without being pushy, that helps them to settle down, to connect with you emotionally, and know that you have their best interest in mind. And that's going to help you close way more deals. So as we engage, the first thing that people expect from a salesperson is for you to push them, to drive them to a conclusion, to get them to say yes, to buy, to exchange finances, to give you money, to make you money. And so there's already a wall that's straight up, man. They're like, no way, I am not doing this today. And so you've got to be careful as you engage and connect with that client. Now, how do we start? Is right from the first knock on that door. As you knock on that door, you want to connect with them emotionally. Don't immediately dump into a sales pitch. Start asking them questions. Those questions will open the door to make them understand that you're not just in there to push them into making a decision. Now, oftentimes we get into sales mode, as I call it, where we start telling them all the reasons why they should buy or sell or invest in real estate today. Guys, that is probably the worst thing we could do. The minute you start selling and telling them everything to do, you're not going to get the deal. So take a couple steps back, focus, and then engage with them in a way that you're going to be able to find success and get them to bring those barriers down, knowing that you're not going to push them, that you're going to say, I'm there for you. I'm here for your best interest, and I'm going to guide you through this process without you even knowing that I'm doing it. That is the mentality you've got to have. So when you start out, you got to have a balance. Now, the balance between closing and listening is huge. So first, start out by asking the right questions. Have you ever thought about buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Most people are going to say no. That's okay. And see, this is where a lot of salespeople dive in and go, really? You're not going to sell right now? And make people feel stupid. That is not smart. So that's when you're going to start saying things like, oh, no worries. So is this your forever home? And if they say no to that, cool. When do you think you guys would move? Now start walking them through that process to where they can make some decisions without feeling that pressure of, really, are you sure you want to wait that long? Man, that could cost you a lot of money. Hasn't anybody told you about the real estate market? Let me tell you what the real estate market's doing. And then you start telling them tons and tons of details. So instead, look at this approach where you start talking to them and you say, how long are you going to be in this next house? 3 years. Cool. What do you think the real estate market's going to do over the next 3 years? Now, when I say cool to their responses and I engage with them in not a negative way, where I'm still positive with them, even though they gave me a negative response of, yeah, we're not ready to move. We're not ready to buy real estate. We're not really ready to sell real estate. And we're not going to do it for 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. I'm okay with that. Now I'm going to start walking slowly and helping them understand why it would be more beneficial for them to do it sooner. So this is where it all tails in. This is where we start getting a lot of good experience because they know I'm not being pushy to them. So the first couple questions I'm going to ask is, what do you feel like the market's going to do over the next 5 years? Do you think it's going to go up or down? And they almost always will say up. If they say down, that's just fine. Remember, I'm there to listen and to guide them with the right questions. Why do you feel like the market's going to go down? What causes you to think that? Over the last couple years, where we've had 8% interest rates, crazy economy, inflation, all kinds of problems, what did our real estate market do? Didn't go down. It stayed pretty steady and even gone up in quite a few places. So what do you think is going to happen with the new presidential election? What do you think is going to happen with interest rates? What do you think is going to happen when the economy gets a little bit better? How will that affect home prices? That's where we start asking more questions and start engaging them more rather than saying, really? It's not going to go down. It didn't go down before and it's not going to go down now. It went up and now it's going to go up a lot more. So in reality, if you don't do this sooner than later, it's going to cost you a ton of money. Guys, rephrase that. Rephrase that. How much pent up supply and demand do you feel like is out there right now? Have you thought about that? Because we had the lowest number of home sales since 1963. There was only 3.9 million homes sold in 2024. So that being said, how does that affect us? And when we look at that, did people just stop needing to buy houses? Were babies not born? Were marriages not taking place? Were divorces not happening? Were people not retiring? Or were they not making job transfers? The answer is no. Yes, everything was happening. So, and you can walk them through the statistical data. And if you don't have that, get it. And I'm going to give you some of that right now. So there was over 1 million babies born last year. There were 3 million marriages that took place. There were 50 million job changes. Guys, that's a lot. And there was also, I think it's 1 million people that turned 65. So don't have the notes right in front of me, but these are the kind of things that you need to have by memory so that you can talk to people on the doorstep and tell them what the market's doing. Now, a lot of people are just like you and they want to hold off 3 to 5 years. Why do you think that is? Notice how confrontational I'm being, how blunt I'm being, how salesy I'm being. I'm not. I'm just asking questions. So how many people are super smart like you that are just waiting for those rates to come down, waiting for the economy to get a little bit better? And when that happens, what do you think is going to happen to home prices? So a bunch of buyers jump back on the market, homes come on the market, and 3 or 4 people are now putting in offers. What does that do to home prices? Cause them to go up, right? So right now, if you were to buy a house, yes, we're a little bit higher on the interest rate. Are you able to negotiate a little bit on the purchase price? Cool. How much do you think we can negotiate? Are you able to get them to pay closing costs? Yeah, you can. How much are closing costs? It's about 2% of the purchase price. So do the math. What price of home would you want to buy? If you can save 2% there, how much money are you putting in your pocket? Next step, can you get them to pay repairs? And throw a number at that. Add all those numbers together. So if you're saving $20,000 off purchase price, $10,000 off repairs, and $5,000 off the inspection items. So now we're at $35,000. So now let's flip that around. Now we're in a crazy buyer's market where tons of people are bidding on homes. There's multiple offers. Can you negotiate the sales price? You can't. And in reality, if there's multiple offers, how much above sales price is it going to go in a bidding war to be able to win? Let's say 20 grand. Can you get them to pay your closing costs? Not a chance, because they've got 4 people bidding on this. They're not going to pay closing costs. Can you get them to pay repairs? No. Why would they? There's 4 people that'll buy this behind them if you don't want it. So we take that 20 grand that we don't get by having a bidding war versus being in the seller or buyer's market where you can offer less. So you had 20 grand to your purchase price versus 35 you'd saved by buying sooner. That's $55,000, people. Is that a lot of money to you? Notice how we're walking them through a scenario that's going to help them understand. And it's not about, hey, let me just give you the answers. It's not about me pushing you and telling you that you have to do this in order for you to be successful. Guys, Real D2D, if you see my shirt right here, Real D2D is teaching them the steps they need to take in order to find success. And if they will follow along, answering the questions as you guide them through the process, you're never going to be telling them. You're never going to be pushing them. You're never going to be persuasive. In fact, if you've done this job right, what's going to happen at the end of your pitch is they're going to say, what are the next steps? I think we're ready to do this. When can we start looking at homes? That is when you're doing a fabulous job. So guys, make sure you like and subscribe this. If you want to learn all of these tips and tricks, make sure you stay tuned because there's a lot more that's going to come. Share this with other friends and comment below if there's something that I didn't explain very well that you want more in-depth detail on. Explain it below and we'll make sure we get that to you. Thanks for watching today, you guys. Have a great day.